What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. If you don't know who I am, that means you're new. I'm Mark. What's good with y'all? Go check out my other videos. Go check them out. Stay on this one though. Before you do that, this one's real important, right? So, if you don't stay up to date as far as the politics go when it comes to firearms, the communist state of California's quote unquote amazing governor, he introduced what is called the 28th Amendment. This is what he's hoping is going to get put into effect. Keep in mind, there are four main proponents to this that they want to realistically, see take effect. However, I do want to point this out that throughout the entire time of it, they say at least 4 or 5 times America's gun owning tradition. It is not a tradition, it is a right, or else it would not be in the Bill of Rights. If it was a tradition, it wouldn't be instinctively instilled into our brains in a life or death situation for us to choose for us to be the ones alive. So let's get that out the way. These four main, these four main, I guess, objectives that they're trying to push with this are universal background checks, raising the federal age of buying firearms from 18 to 21. Banning assault weapons, quote unquote assault weapons, right? And quote unquote reasonable waiting periods, right, of receiving your firearm, at least after purchasing. My apologies. I should have made that a bit more clear, but I thought it kind of was. So let's get into it. No bullshitting. I'm going to just basically go into why all of it is entirely unconstitutional. We're going to start with universal background checks. We have seen in so many forms of government, dating even back beforehand, but we'll go back to Nazi Germany, even, where there was a gun registry in effect that was only able to be there because, what happened? The government had too much control. They stripped the civilians of all their firearms, which is exactly what this universal background check system is looking like it's going to. So, I'm just going to point that out because think about it like this. We're not talking about your standard background check. People already have that. That's already in effect. Universal background checks are something entirely different where, honestly, the government's just going to end up using it to build a database of the people who own firearms so that way they can come confiscate them. That's entirely what the Second Amendment was to fight off a tyrannical government, whether it be foreign or domestic. So let's get the universal background checks out the way. I'm sure this one isn't going to be too long of a video, guys. I'm going to point that out right now. Raising the federal age of buying a firearm from 18 to 21 really pisses me off because here's the thing. On top of what comes with universal background checks is that means there's background checks for all the firearm purchases, even private purchases. Now, for example, right? That actually also includes gifts, all of it. Transferring a firearm from one person to another, no matter what the circumstances would be at that point, would require a background check. I'm sorry, but I'm going to be honest with you guys. Let's say I bought a gun and I thought, okay, yeah, well, I'm going to use it for now, but when I have a kid, I probably am going to put this firearm away, use this firearm as something to teach the child firearm safety with, things like that, and then give it to them as their first gun in the future. Oh, wait, now I got to get the government involved, pay an entire fee, wait for all that to go through. Then there's going to be a reasonable waiting period. You see how it all, kind of goes into line with each other? Now, my biggest issue with the, federally raising the age is that, for example, I was gifted my SD9VE, right? I look at it like this. Since that was a gift to me, and it was a gift to me because I had nothing to I technically, did, I had a bunch of machetes, shit like that, a fighting fucking spirit. Sure, I had that to defend my home, but multiple, armed intruders break into my home, that's not going to do me too well considering if they have a gun, I'm fucked, right? So, yeah, that was gifted to me, and I was believe I was 20 when it happened. I had just turned 20, something like that. No, maybe it wasn't just turned 20. That might be kind of an exaggeration. But my point is that I wasn't 21 yet. You know, I still had just as much of a right to defend my home as anybody else did by every standard. You know what I mean? Especially since I lived by myself at my home. I had my own place, paid all my own bills, did everything myself. So yeah, I definitely deserve to be able to protect all my shit. To protect myself inside of my home along with all of my shit. So I have an issue with that. Honestly, I think that in my personal opinion, the Second Amendment shouldn't even be something that the states realistically should be able to make their own laws on, in my opinion. I truly don't think so because it specifically says no infringements. Like, or excuse me, it doesn't say no, it says shall not be infringed, but you know what I mean. That is the only amendment that has that sentence in there, or excuse me, that phrase shall not be infringed. So I don't know. I think kind of giving the states to, I don't know. I'm getting a little off topic here. I really am. Sorry. So raising the federal age is just bullshit. I don't think states should have, even that right to be like, oh yeah, well, our state's gonna do it, but there is an amendment that states do get their own, say and shit, and that the federal government doesn't just rule over it all. That's not the point. All right. So I've covered the universal background checks. I covered raising the federal age. Let me see here. What should I go into next? I got two options left. So I got banning the assault weapons, and then I got the reasonable waiting periods. You know, let's start with the waiting periods, right? Because I feel like y'all are going to see a circle with this. So with these reasonable waiting periods, we've seen a lot of cases where people were waiting either to get their firearm, get their permits, or at least their permits to own a firearm, because some states, like for example New Jersey, they are real fucking strict and stupid with their firearm laws, especially considering that it hasn't done anything to help their crime. So it's just that. Uh it's stupid because you're always realistically doing. Think about it like this: they sit there and say, "Oh yeah, well, what if somebody wants to go? What if somebody wants to go commit, a mass shooting or whatever, and they're so angry, but that time period gives them time to cool off." If you think that's gonna happen, you really don't live in reality. You really don't. I'm sorry, but here, for example, I'll take me as an example. When I'm mad about something and it doesn't get resolved, I'm angry for weeks. Like, hell, I'm not going to go into all the details, but me and my family have been arguing about some shit. And granted, it's a huge fucking deal. Like, by every standard, if I said what it was, y'all would be like, what the fuck? That's a big deal, you know? But it's hasn't gotten resolved. I don't feel, accomplished with it. So I'm still fucking mad about it. You see what I mean? That waiting period won't be helpful, no matter how long you believe is reasonable. Because when are they going to start saying, "Oh yeah, well maybe what we said was reasonable isn't enough. Maybe we need to give it more time." And then it starts adding on so much time to the point that you just forget about it. You don't even consider owning a firearm anymore because you're never going to get it. So there's that, right? And then quote unquote banning assault weapons, right? Do you know what the anti-gun lobby considers an assault weapon? They consider any firearm with the capability of taking a detachable magazine an assault weapon. They have any firearm with the capability of you know handling more than, or excuse me, having more than 10 rounds at a time in it an assault weapon. They consider all intermediate cartridge rifles, especially in the AR platform, assault weapons. With what they're saying overall, it would just go down to, if we're gonna ban everything that they're saying is an assault weapon, we would basically be down to single shot shit, fucking single barrel, double barrel shotguns, your bolt actions, your pumps, your lever actions, maybe. It's revolvers. That's about it. I can't think of anything else realistically. And there are some people out there who truly think, oh well, that's all we need. If that's all we need, then why the fuck does our government have a lot more than that? Just tell me. I thought the entire point of what our country was founded on was that we had the same rights as, or not even, we actually have more rights as people than the government does. We're the ones who keep the government in check. So why do we need less than they do? I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. This entire 28th Amendment isn't going to be something that's, a positive thing for us as firearm owners. I'm sure, y'all have gathered that at this point. However, I just want to talk about it so that way you can share this with your friends, your family, whatever. Maybe you got people who live out in California. Look, maybe we just need to get Newsome out of there. Who knows? Who knows? But until then, y'all can always vote against the 28th Amendment that he's proposing. You know what I mean? Y'all can do anything in your power to sit there and say, nah, bro, fuck you. Bye. Leave. We don't want you around. You can go through all of that. You can do all of that. And we might see some change. Who knows? I don't think we will, because realistically speaking, these anti-gun lobbyists, they are fucking relentless. Like, when they're going after somebody, they don't give a shit. So just think about it, guys. This entire 28th Amendment that Newsom's bringing up, it's just bullshit. You know what I mean? He's really trying to institute universal background checks, raising the federal age, waiting periods, banning what they deem as assault weapons. But their definition of assault weapon is 95 to 98% of most modern firearms today. So just think about that. I'm glad I was able to get 2 videos out for y'all today. Y'all make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, hit that bell. When you hit that bell, hit all. And because you agree with me, this 28th Amendment is fucking bullshit, go and check out the podcast channel, Adam's channel. That means you're our type of people. You need to be watching all of our shit. Y'all, excuse me, I almost forgot to say the fucking name of the names of the channels. Gun Nut TV, Centerfire Podcast. Y'all know what the deal is. Y'all make sure to stay legal, stay safe, stay dangerous. Have a good one, y'all. Peace.